Hello, dear listener. I'm your host, Hayk. And today, my guest is a developer turned a growth hacker from Croatia. Joseph, tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. First of all, hi. Thank you so much for the invite. My name is Josip. I'm from Croatia. I'm a developer who's been in the trenches of development for the past couple of years. And after that, switched on to the marketing side and started doing a lot of different growth hacking, especially when it comes to disruptive tech, focusing on blockchain and artificial intelligence. During that period of time, I founded something which is called Resolute, and where I currently serve as a co-founder and partner. And that's one of the leading Web3 marketing and growth agencies in the space, working with the likes of Near, Definity, Polkadot, SE, and multiple other different projects, protocols, startups, and scale-ups in the space. And on top of that, I'm also running something which is called House of Blockchain, which is a community and co-working space here in Croatia, which sort of has a lot of AI and Web3 projects here. And we are the central piece when it comes to the community events and all things which are happening on the disruptive space.
Understood. Let's then get to the beginning of all of it. How did you end up in development?
It's actually a crazy story. I was always an entrepreneur and always trying to figure out a way of creating my first application, seeing everything that's happening in Silicon Valley, and then that Silicon Valley mentality transferred into the parts of Europe as we started to see different unicorns popping up during the 2010 era. I was always looking at those stories. I was like, okay, I want to build a startup. I want to build a product or an agency. I want to have something on my own. How do we do this? How is this possible? How are people working on this? And all of those paths led me to you need to know development. If you want to build a product, you need to know how to develop it. You need to know how product works, right? But then also when you're looking at it from the business perspective, if you know the technology stack behind it and how much time it takes, how many people you need, it's much more easier to build it out and hire the right people than starting from scratch. So I was working on different projects from e-com, I was doing drop shipping at one point. This was 2016, 2017. We were just kicking off. Did not make a lot of money on it, but it taught me a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. And then I enrolled into college, which was the Rochester Institute of Technology. It's a Croatian campus, the satellite to the one in the US, and started doing computer science. And during my first year, I founded an agency, which was called Definition 8. And Definition 8 was like a experiential, creative, crazy agency, which dabbled in augmented reality. Because during that time, what happened was Lens Studio came out from Snapchat and Spark AR came out from Facebook, which is Meta. And those are essentially your filters, like Instagram filters, Snapchat filters, and then TikTok came with their Effect House afterwards. So I founded an agency which made the first filters for brands in Croatia. Mm-hmm. And we started to work with a lot of different agencies, big agencies like BBBO, WPP, etc., here in the Croatian market, but then also expanding outwards. And this was also during the time where I started to explore a lot with artificial intelligence, because augmented reality is very much tied with AI. Uh-huh. And so we were dabbling in that. And that was an agency which had 3 people. So we were doing absolutely everything. I was the sales, the marketing, the CTO, the CEO at one point, anything that was needed, we were doing it. Mm-hmm. And we extended to different offerings and different services. And this is when NFTs came about as well. I was closely following what Artifact was doing and joined their program as well. And then stumbled upon NFTs and fully went into them without a second thought. And that's where the journey started. Mm-hmm. From me transitioning more on this marketing and growth side rather than being fully within the development. The Definition 8 agency, at one point I needed to cut it because of the fact that I took a bite of overstretching the services, let's say it like that, and providing a lot of different things while having a 3-people team.
Mm-hmm.
It was a profitable agency, but it came down to me working 24/7. But not only working on one specific service, but working on AI, working on 3D, VFX, a lot of different complex things which require teams of people to do. And I decided to put a pause to it. And then I joined a very small agency, which was just starting out, which was called Resolute. And I was the fifth employee of Resolute, and I started as a community manager at first. Resolute was founded because of the fact that the founders were very deep in the AI, and Web3 space, running different accelerators in the Western and Eastern blocks of Europe. And then all of those projects needed a marketing agency to promote them essentially and create their go-to-market strategies. And a lot of the agencies during that time, and this was during the 2021 era, 2020, 2021, a lot of the agencies were vanity metrics. There's still a lot of vanity metrics in Web3 and AI in general in the world. But during that time, there was a lot of shillers. And you remember this, the NFT space and the DeFi space during that era was crazy. So Resolute was founded to cater to the portfolio companies, which we've invested in. And that slowly expanded into people referring to us, hey, they're good, talk to them, see how they can help you grow. And that's how we started. I quickly became a lead for the NFT and the metaverse side. So I was working a lot on the brands, very big brands, insurance companies, cars, automotive, finance, and banking. A lot of them wanting to implement POPs at that time, which was proof of attendance protocols and those things. So we were working on those smaller activations, but we also had some bigger ones. And that's translated into me now becoming a partner. And Resolute is now 30 people, but we also have different freelancers who are helping us on specific actions like VFX, motion design. And yeah, we're growing some cool protocols and startups in the space. But that's a story.
I totally forgot about POPs, You just reminded me.
I have that at one point they had a card, like a physical card.
Yeah.
And we were giving those out. We had like an activation, and I was just typing, hey, get my POP.
Our journey is similar in the sense that we both started from NFTs, and I launched the NFT community in Armenia. And then I started working as a community manager. So yeah, I can relate to that. And you ended up working with Resolute, and you're currently with them.
Yes. So I climbed the ranks. No, but firstly, I was in charge of all the things when it comes to the NFTs and metaverse. Then I quickly switched to head of innovation and creative, due to my background in VFX, AR, a lot of different things. So I was working on creative and growth strategies and growth hacking as well. And since last year, I'm a partner in Resolute, so co-founder and a partner now.
And tell me more about Resolute. What problem does it solve?
A lot of the projects in the Web3, they see the big numbers, what everybody's doing from different L1s, L2s, increase of the TVL. But a lot of those are incentivized rewards, right? And a lot of those do not retain the users afterwards. I've seen numerous different protocols, like very big protocols that had billions in TVL, who are dropping after the incentivization is done. It's not black and white. But the goal is that Resolute comes in and provides marketing services catering to acquisition of users, ecosystem development, and retention of users. 3 of our founders come from the developer backgrounds, and we're developer first. And we started working with a lot of infra-based projects like privacy preservation apps, projects which are building upon zero knowledge proofs, a lot of complex technology stacks, and trying to figure out how do we onboard new developers from the Web3 side, but then also touch on the Web2 and get them in, which is much easier said than done. So we started to do a lot of this ecosystem growth, targeting both the Web2 and Web3 developers, depending on what the project is. We're doing a lot of hackathons, a lot of ideathons, workshops, events, collaborating with, I would say now, at least 70 universities worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So US, APAC region, EMEA, and their blockchain clubs, where blockchain and AI clubs. And on top of that, supporting projects which are building upon those ecosystems. That can be with advisory, go-to-market, different services that we provide for acquisition and retention of users. But that's like a full overview.
Sounds like a big scale.
It's good. It's good. We started way back in the day. It was social content and community. And then we switched more onto the growth side where it encompasses all of those. Social is a crucial part. Content is a crucial part, especially the organic. A lot of things encompass the growth element, but the main thing that we're doing is we are defining the clear KPIs, defining what the client wants, what is needed, and how do we scale it, and then creating a strategy, and then we execute it. One thing that I would like to say is that we are doing a lot of audience segmentation through AI. So what that means is that we are figuring out who are the personas that we're targeting, where do they reside, go to GitHub, understand their commits, what they have done before, so we can target them afterwards, and then we can adjust all the campaigns through that. So we're very data driven as an agency. And if something does not work, we see it. We do experiments. Something does not work, kill it. Let's do another one and double down if it works.
Talking about something that doesn't work, can you tell me the story about the most epic fail you had with Resolute, in your opinion?
Most epic fail that I had with Resolute. I would not say that it was a fail, but I know I can mention it. So we were working with a very big client on the NFT activation. It was one of the biggest activations for a brand in this region. And we minted 3 NFTs. I think it was 4,000 of them, 3,000, something like that. This was 2021, 22. Minted a lot of the NFTs, and the goal of the campaign was to create a community because it was a TV show, and it was Gen Z and Gen Alpha mostly, and we were funneling them onto Discord and different platforms where they have their own community where they talk about the show. What happened was we didn't realize that if you close gate a bunch of Gen Z and Gen Alpha, that all the exams from all the countries in the region will be there from schools. So everybody started sharing the exams. Everybody started sharing a bunch of things. So that was fun. I think that at one point, I think that a lot of the whole region had exams of every school and from all the classes.
So it was a timing issue.
Yeah. Not even the time. I think it was good for them. Like, I think they loved it. So
we created a community for you to share your exams. Enjoy.
No, but I think that was actually a very good thing of what can transpire, because we didn't initiate it, right? The main goal was to talk about meet the actors, talk about the project itself, and all those things. Talk about the TV show. But then it transpired into people sharing the exams and things like that, which was at the end perfect, because I would do the same, to be honest.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
What's the goal that you have with Resolute, and what challenges you face on the road to that goal?
We are dabbling in AI for the last 3 years. And during my days with Definition 8, I didn't realize to what extent it will go with the emergence of ChatGPT and now just spiraling into agents, agentic workflows. But I realized the potential immediately, right? And what we want to do, to answer your question, is to become the go-to AI company for marketing, meaning that we can either execute or we can help you set up the processes to execute. Because at one point, I very much believe that agents will replace agencies which are not utilizing AI. Consultancy side, marketing side, right? I don't think it will replace development because of the security reasons, because of the fact that you need, especially in the Web3, right? It cannot easily replace it. But repetitive tasks and agencies which are doing only social media or content, why would you hire an agency if agent can do even a better job, right? So what we're doing now is we are very much focusing on that, helping the clients to, if they don't have enough capital to hire an agency, to implement the whole structure. And then on top of that, also seeing how do we move into that direction where we offer AI native services. So that's where we're going. There's the challenges of this. There's a lot of tools which are coming. I know we've talked a bit on the video side. We've talked a bit, like just a small portion of it, right? There's bazillion tools out there. A lot of them don't work. Most of the things are wrappers, but some wrappers are good, some wrappers are terrible. And we decided to as well build our own tools, SaaS, which will help us internally that we might spin out in the future. So the main challenge is to find the right models and to figure out the main workflow of how some of the things work. And this is the vision for Resolute in the upcoming future. We're talking 2-3 years, because I very much think that there's still, there's a lot of talk about AI, but not a lot of companies are implementing it. And I've realized that I was thinking that everybody's now in the AI. Everybody knows what they're doing, right? And then I go to the conferences, which are more Web2 based, not so much in the Web3, like fintech, banking, etc. And then I realized most of the people are only using ChatGPT, and they're not even having their own instances. They're just, pasting it, and that's it. And I realized, okay, this is very early. Yes, it has a lot of users and everything, but if we're talking about AI implementation within companies, having proprietary models on your server so nobody can access it, running DeepSeek locally or things like that, then we're far away from that. And I think that there's a very good potential over there. So yeah. I'm not sure if this is going to take us into a venture building side of things, meaning that we go outside of the agency and have our own products and scale those products. We'll see about that. You never know. But at this point, we are doubling down on the AI, sort of this AI implementation cross market. I just see that there's a lot of potential to build it. So if you go to like a traditional conference and you mention agentic workflows, so when I say traditional, let's say, I don't know, fintech, banking, whatever, beverage industry, not a lot of people will know about what that is.
Yeah, I do believe we still have some,
That's far as to go. Perplexity as well.
Yeah, I do believe we still have time until it gets more implemented. Although what shocks me at times is when you look at all the buzz on social media, like on LinkedIn, Twitter, all this podcasts on YouTube and stuff, you feel like you are the one missing out.
Exactly. Yes. It creates a FOMO. It creates such a FOMO.
But turns out that in reality, like, it's just the content that you follow and the feeds that you have that make you think that. In reality, the person sitting next to you may potentially not see anything from what you observe. And so it's a reality shift when you talk to people from traditional industries, as you mentioned, and realize that they still didn't even pay for their ChatGPT subscription. They're just using the free version, waiting until some limits restart and stuff. And you're like, oh, okay.
I had the same feeling when it comes to Web3. I was thinking a lot. I was thinking people know about crypto, know about blockchain. I mean, they're deep into it. Maybe they are not. Maybe they're not using DEXs and those things, but they have a Binance account, they have a Coinbase account, or something like that. No, I was very wrong.
Yeah, that's the risk of living in the tech bubble that we have.
Yeah.
And when we speak about achieving your next goal for Resolute, who is it that you would like to connect with?
Founders, founders and builders of both AI and Web3 startups. On firstly, as I said, where we can help out on the acquisition and those things. But then on top of that, who are fond of implementing agentic workflows and seeing, let's test AI SEO. Let's create a bunch of content pieces. Let's do experiments, and let's see how we can grow the projects. So mostly with the founders and startups, founders and builders, but then also on the other front with leaders of the companies in the Web2 who are interested in AI. So not necessarily as a sales or anything like that, but the ones who are interested in exploring the AI and what can this bring to the company. And I think this is a very good approach of how can we give more people the education that they need for it. As we were doing a lot of workshops for different companies, some paid, some I did it for free, some I did it at schools, high school, etc. So if there's anybody who needs any workshop or an overview where we can present to the team what is possible, I think that would be amazing as well, because we would gladly do it, and we have a team of people who
understood. Yeah. So founders, builders, and explorers.
Yes, explorers. That's the one. That's the one.
Okay, that's pretty clear. We're at the end, and I have a final question to ask, which is the single most important thing that you've learned throughout your journey from development to growth hacking to AI agents and to this point.
Think before you speak.
Okay.
Think before you speak. I'm a person who has a bit of, I would not call it ADHD. I don't know if I have it, but I'm a very, let's do this, let's do that, all over the place. Then I went to multiple situations where I was like, okay, you dumbass, think before you
agree.
Think before you, yeah. And also, it's better to, one thing that I realized, it's better to take time to, even a minute if needed, to think about a specific problem and then to get the answer. Or say, I don't know how, but I'll think about it. And this is applicable not only like on the sales and client facing side, but also on the internal processes in the operations. How do you manage the people? How do you grow the company, scale it, everything? And I think that's the most important thing. Because a co-founder of mine was very deep into the agency space for a long time. And he's also one of the mentors of mine. And he said to me, this can be one of the crucial things. And then I started doing it, and you realize actually it's not easy. Like you have like people who want to say something, like say it immediately. But sometimes it's usually better to maybe back down a bit, get your thoughts out.
Love it. Okay. Thank you, Josip. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us today. Leave any questions for Josip in the comments, and I'll see you in the next episode.